Are you confused if you have PCOS or not? Then this video is for you. Hey everyone, welcome back to Mama Munchkin and More. This is Hina, a certified fitness nutritionist and also a to-be fertility doula. In this video, I'm going to help you understand the differences between PCO versus PCOS and also the Rotterdam criteria, which is crucial to diagnose PCOS. If your doctor hasn't discussed about this, then I'm going to break it down for you so you can self-diagnose yourself. Of course, you do need a blood work to confirm the diagnosis. Let's talk about the differences between PCO and PCOS first. PCO is polycystic ovaries, whereas PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and sometimes people also address it as PCOD, which is polycystic ovarian disorder. So let's talk about PCO. PCO, as the name says, it's polycystic ovaries, which means you have cysts in your ovaries. Just because you have cysts in your ovaries, it does not mean that you may have PCOS. Coming to PCOS, which is a syndrome, it's a complex condition. You may or may not have the cysts in the ovaries, but it also has a range of metabolic conditions and hormonal imbalances. And PCOS can be diagnosed through blood work and also through an ultrasound scan. And the next thing is Rotterdam criteria. So basically this is a criteria where you have 3 conditions and you need to meet at least 2 out of these 3 conditions to be diagnosed with PCOS. Of course, your OBGYNs or gynecologists do not have time to discuss all this during the appointment. So let me help you understand what the Rotterdam criteria means. So the Rotterdam criteria has 3 conditions. The first one being irregular periods or menstrual cycles which are absent for prolonged periods of time. The second one is presence of androgens. And the third one being polycystic ovaries, which we have already discussed. So now let's deep dive into this. Hyperandrogenism. Let's break down this for you. Hyper means excess. So what are these androgens? Androgens are basically hormones that give men their male characteristics and are basically addressed as male hormones. Now don't be fooled when I say male hormones and start questioning yourself, how come women can have them? Well, even women have about 1/10 to 1/20th of androgens in their body and they serve different purposes. So where are these androgens present in a woman? They are present in ovaries, adrenal glands, which are glands that are sitting on your kidney, and fat cells. How is hyperandrogenism caused? It is caused due to disruption of normal ovarian and adrenal function in the body. How is hyperandrogenism diagnosed? It is basically diagnosed clinically by the presence of these 3 factors. First one being excessive acne, second one being androgenic alopecia, that is a condition in which hair falls out in small patches, or hirsutism, that is excessive hair growth on your face, chest, back, or any other part of the body. Now let's look at ovulatory dysfunction. We first need to identify what is ovulation. It's basically a release of egg from the ovary on a monthly basis in a woman. So let's see what is ovulatory dysfunction then. It is basically a disorder in which ovulation fails to occur or occurs intermittently. There are 2 types in this. The first one being anovulation or amenorrhea. It is a disorder in which eggs are not developed properly or they are not released from the follicles of the ovaries. In this condition, period is absent for many months, like anywhere about 6 months to a year or 2 years. The second one being oligoovulation or oligomenorrhea. It is a disorder in which ovulation doesn't occur frequently and periods occur like more than 35 days apart but less than 6 months. So how is this ovulatory dysfunction diagnosed? Medical history is very important in diagnosing the ovulatory dysfunction. However, there are other important tests that include the following. The first one being FSH blood level. It is a blood test to measure the follicle stimulating hormone to see if you are approaching menopause. The second one, anti-Mullerian hormone, AMH. An AMH test is often used to check a woman's ability to produce egg and identify your ovarian reserve. This test is very important when assessing your fertility. The third one, progesterone blood level. Progesterone is a very crucial hormone, and we will talk about it in depth in the future. But for this video, understand that progesterone blood test is used to determine if you ovulated or not. The last one being ultrasound. It is a scan to see if follicles in your ovaries are developing properly or not and identify in case you have any abnormalities. So let's now look at polycystic ovaries. A polycystic ovary is defined basically as an ovary that contains 12 or more follicles measuring 2 to 9 millimeters in diameter, or an ovary that has a volume of greater than 10 ml on an ultrasonography. Now, a single ovary meeting this or both of these conditions is sufficient enough for diagnosis of polycystic ovaries. Let's now look at a normal ovary and how it is different from a PCOS condition ovary. This diagram may seem very complicated for non-medical audience, but let me simplify it for you. We have many hormones that are responsible for the ovulation process. Every hormone should work in conjunction with each other to make your period or pregnancy happen. Now let's see what is this follicle. Every ovary has a fluid-filled sac that is called as follicle, and it is where your little immature egg is hidden. Let's look at the normal ovary function on the left side. During every menstrual cycle, we have a primary follicle that keeps maturing based on the hormones released from the brain. Basically, the brain will be sending down the hormones as a signal. Now, once the follicle is matured enough, it triggers ovulation, which means the matured follicle ruptures, that means it breaks down, and it releases the egg, which you are seeing in this diagram. Once the egg is released after a few days, you either end up getting your period or you get pregnant if you have had a successful conception during ovulation phase. Now let's look at the polycystic ovary function on right. When you have PCOS, there is an imbalance of hormones and lack of proper communication between your brain and the ovaries. Certain hormones may exceed in amount than required, which will never let the follicle mature fully. If this repeats every single month, you end up having many immature follicles and you keep basically gathering a lot of follicles in your ovaries, which are seen in the ultrasound diagnosis. In this diagram, you can see the blue follicles which have accumulated over the months. Without a follicle rupturing, an egg will not be released, hence no ovulation. I now hope you have a clear idea of what Rotterdam criteria is. Now sharing my personal experience. When I was first diagnosed with PCOS, it was through a combination of blood work and also ultrasound report. So when I went for the ultrasound, the cysts were detected, but I didn't have like a plenty of cysts. There were about 15 on the left, I believe, and 20 on the right. Now, some women may have even higher cysts, like I have seen women with 100 plus cysts. Now, it depends on your condition totally and how long it's been that you have been having PCOS and how long you have had the missed periods. At that point, I barely had missed periods on and off for 2 months at the most. And my blood work also showed the LH and FSH hormones were like disproportionate, which also confirms PCOS. However, I did not meet the presence of high androgens criteria. I did not have any symptoms that were targeting, androgens, or I did not have any high testosterone or low testosterone. So my two criteria were like PCOS, polycystic ovaries, and the second one was irregular periods. And this was how my PCOS was diagnosed. But coming to the next step, my doctor never helped me understand what kind of PCOS I had. So if you're also hearing this for the first time, yes, there are 4 types of PCOS, which I'll be explaining you in my upcoming video. So please stay tuned for that. But my PCOS was insulin resistance type PCOS, which I had to do a lot of digging and I had to figure it out by myself. So yes, that's it for this video. I'll be seeing you in another video. Till then, take care. And if you have any comments or questions on this video, please do comment in the comment section below. And if you have any concerns or if you need support on your fertility journey with PCOS, I'm happy to help. You can reach out to me to schedule a 20-minute free discovery call using the link in the description box below. And we both can talk on how I can help you in your fertility journey. So I'll be seeing you in another video. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz. Bye-bye.